Hey, next game up, we have USC Alabama. It's a neutral game. In general, this week one slate's awesome. I think it. People keep saying it's the best ever. It probably is. Unfortunately, a lot of the major programs, like for example USC, if this was played 4 or 5 years ago, it'd be an even bigger deal. Same with Notre Dame, Texas. Notre Dame's good. Texas might be better this year. We don't really know, but they've been down. But some of these marquee matchups, Wisconsin's going to be down, even though they're playing LSU. Ole Miss, Florida State's another great one, though we're going to get to at the end of these videos. But it's an awesome week one. This is one I'm really excited to watch. But Alabama's favored by 11.5, and for a reason. And my actual numbers make it 9, so I think it's a little high. But I also made that power rating from my college football preview before. A few things. One, and it wasn't necessarily before, the USC defensive line is a big question mark. They're not going to have anybody starting on it that played a single game for USC to this point. I think most of them are new to the actual, college level. As far as playing as like freshmen or sophomores, and then they have one transfer, and I can't remember for the life of me from where. I think is Utah State, but that could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. But either way, every face on the defensive line is brand new for USC. And in a game like this, it's really, really going to be one in the trenches. You have two teams with new quarterbacks that already kind of like to run the ball, especially Alabama, obviously, and slow the game down. If you have such a big advantage on, for example, the Alabama offensive line versus the USC defensive line, who's brand new, I think that's going to play a bigger role. So I'm not surprised at all when you really break down the matchup in the X's and O's that this is a few points higher than maybe my actual power rating would make it. So just because I have it 9 and it's 11.5, I'm not touching it. I think honestly, if I had to make a play, more and more I've thought about it. I think Alabama takes care of business. I did hear a tidbit from one of the books here in Vegas. That book's pretty sharp action in a book generally. I guess I can give them a shout out on here. They probably won't care. It's the CGT company. I just was talking with them on the radio, and Matt Holt's the VP there, and he said that they have 10-1. I guess not the ticket count, but the actual money wagered is Alabama to USC. And typically, being in Vegas, first week of football, being close to Los Angeles, Trojan fans here, through over the past few weekends or weeks, he says typically a USC game would have way, way more handle on USC. He said essentially it's all the small casual bettors are the only ones betting on USC, and in 10-1 ratio on Alabama, and it's sharp money. So that's kind of the word there. I think it's the right side. If I had to make a play, it's Alabama. What I probably am going to do is wait and see if, I don't know. I feel like there's no statistical history here, but I feel like Saban teams oftentimes start kind of slow. Don't know if that's really a fact or not. But if they give up a field goal or a touchdown early, and then I can jump in and obviously get them live in game under 10. I think that's actually something I'm going to be backing because I think the edge they have in the trenches, especially that defensive line for USC, that's going to be so brand new. Alabama's going to wear them down with time, and over the course of 60 minutes, they should be winning by double digits. I think much more often than not. So getting a minus 7.5 live or something like that, or maybe even better, could end up being the best play in this game. If I had to make one pregame, under 54 was one that I looked at. It's 53 and a half now. If I had to make any play, that's the one. So if you're looking at under before, I know my number is 51 and a half, so there's not a huge edge from that. But I think the way it breaks down in week one with new quarterbacks, and Alabama maybe even going to try two quarterbacks, both teams are just going to be handing it off a ton. I think it'll really slow down, especially in the end of third, fourth quarter, if Alabama ends up taking a substantial lead and they're just going to run clock. So that's my one lean, I guess, in this game overall. Sorry this video went long, but I thought it was some pretty good info from the guys over at CGT that they wanted to pass along. So I figured I'd do the same. So Alabama and under are not very correlated. So for me, it's a pass. Just going to play it in game.